What if I told you that your mind could be a fortress, an inner citadel that no amount of external chaos, anxiety, or misfortune could ever breach? In a world that is constantly screaming for your attention, filling your head with noise and doubt, this idea might sound like a fantasy. We're told to be fragile. We're taught to react. We're trained to be victims of our own emotions. But what if I told you there's another way? A 2,000-year-old operating system for the human mind, designed not for monks in a monastery, but for generals on the battlefield, for emperors ruling over chaos, for artists creating masterpieces out of struggle. These ancient masters, the Stoics, were not just philosophers. They were the master blacksmiths of the human spirit. And today, here in the Forge, we are going to learn their secrets. This isn't about feeling good. It's about being good. It's about being unbreakable. These are the 7 Stoic rules for an unbreakable mind in 2025. Rule number 1. Own your circle. Imagine you stand in the center of a small chalk circle. Inside this circle is everything you have absolute 100% control over. Your thoughts, your judgments, your decisions, your reactions, your will. This is your kingdom. Everything outside that circle, the weather, the economy, what other people say, what they do, traffic, politics, even your own health to a degree, is outside of your direct control. The average person spends their entire life trying to control what's outside their circle. They yell at the rain, they rage at the news. They are puppets, and the strings are pulled by everything they cannot change. The Stoic pulls all of their energy and focus inside the circle. This is the dichotomy of control, the very foundation of Stoicism. As the great Stoic teacher Epictetus said, the chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Think about it. You're stuck in a traffic jam. You can't control the cars in front of you. That is outside your circle. But you can control the music you listen to, the podcast that educates you, your breathing, and your decision not to let this minor inconvenience ruin your day. That is inside your circle. Owning your circle doesn't mean you're passive. It means you stop wasting energy fighting unwinnable wars outside, so you can become an absolute master of the kingdom within. Rule number 2. Practice misfortune. This sounds dark, but it is one of the most powerful tools for building resilience. The Stoics called it Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. Think of it not as pessimism, but as a vaccine for the soul, a fire drill for life. Once a day or once a week, take a moment to calmly and rationally imagine that things have gone wrong. Imagine you lost your job. Imagine your project failed. Imagine you lost a possession you cherish. The goal is not to create anxiety. The goal is to do 2 things. First, to realize how much you have to be grateful for right now. And second, to strip the event of its power. When you have already mentally rehearsed the worst-case scenario, you realize 2 things. 1, you can probably handle it. And 2, you can start preparing for it now. Seneca practiced this constantly. He would live on simple food for a week, or sleep on the hard floor, not to punish himself, but to ask himself, is this the condition that I so feared? He realized that he was stronger than his fears. When you practice misfortune, you're not inviting it, you're forging an immunity to it. You are teaching your mind that your peace does not depend on everything going perfectly. Rule number 3. Love your fate. This is perhaps the most advanced and powerful Stoic rule, Amor Fati. It goes beyond simple acceptance. It's not just about enduring what happens, it's about embracing it, loving it. Imagine a blacksmith. When the fire in the forge gets hotter, does he complain? No. He uses the intense heat to shape the steel. The fire is not an obstacle, it is the very thing that makes his work possible. This is Amor, Fati. Whatever happens, a setback, a failure, a challenge, the Stoic does not say, "Why me?" They say, "This is the fire I need to forge my will. This is my material." Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully. A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. Your project failed? Good. This is an opportunity to learn a skill you never would have learned otherwise. You were betrayed? Good. This is a chance to practice forgiveness and strengthen your own character. Amor Fati is the ultimate alchemy of the soul. It is the ability to look at any event, no matter how terrible, and see it not as a curse, but as a path. It is the mindset that makes you not just resilient, but anti-fragile. You don't just survive challenges, you grow stronger because of them. Rule number 4. Remember, you will die. Memento Mori. This isn't a morbid obsession with death. It is the ultimate tool for a life of purpose and urgency. Imagine you had an hourglass on your desk and you knew it contained all the time you had left. Would you waste a single grain of sand on petty arguments, on procrastination, on worrying about what others think? Of course not. Every grain would be precious. That hourglass is real. It is your life. Remembering your mortality doesn't make life depressing. It makes it beautiful. It filters out the noise. That insult someone threw at you today, in the face of your mortality, it is meaningless. That fear of starting a new project, in the face of your mortality, the only real failure is not trying. Steve Jobs, in his famous Stanford address, said, "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life." Memento Mori is your ultimate deadline. It pushes you to stop postponing joy, to stop delaying kindness, and to start living the life you were meant to live right now. It is the fire that burns away the trivial. Rule number 5. Seek virtue, not pleasure. Our modern world is a machine designed to sell us one thing: pleasure, instant gratification, comfort, ease. But the Stoics knew that a life built on pleasure is a house built on sand. Virtue, to the Stoics, was the only true good. What is virtue? It's simple. It's the 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, self-control. Pleasure is a sugar high. It's fleeting. It leaves you wanting more. Virtue is the deep, lasting satisfaction of doing the right thing, even when it's hard. It's the feeling after a brutal workout, not the feeling of eating cake on the couch. When faced with a choice, the Stoic asks, which path leads to pleasure, and which path leads to virtue? Avoiding a difficult conversation is the path of pleasure. Having that conversation with honesty and courage is the path of virtue. Mindlessly scrolling on your phone is pleasure. Closing the app and reading a book is virtue. As Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. A life chasing pleasure is a wasted life. A life chasing virtue is a life of meaning. The paradox is that a virtuous life, in the end, brings a deeper and more profound joy than a life of mere pleasure ever could. Rule number 6, master the pause. Between what happens to you and how you respond, there is a space. In that space lies your power and your freedom. Most of us live without that space. Stimulus, instant reaction. Insult, instant anger. Bad news, instant panic. We are biological robots running on ancient primitive code. The Stoic trains to expand that space. When the stimulus hits, they don't react. They pause. They breathe. They observe the initial emotion as if it were a cloud passing in the sky. And only then they choose their response. This is the essence of what Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, wrote. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. The next time you feel a rush of anger or panic, try this. Do nothing, just for 1 second. Breathe. That 1 second is the space. That is the forge. In that moment of pause, you stop being a slave to your emotions and become their master. Rule number 7. See the world as it is. This is the practice of objective representation. It means stripping events of the emotional judgments and dramatic stories we attach to them. Marcus Aurelius would practice this constantly. He would look at a fancy meal and describe it to himself objectively. The dead body of a fish, a bird, or a pig. He wasn't being morbid. He was training himself to see things without the layer of hype and desire. Your boss criticized your report. That is the fact. Your story is, he thinks I'm incompetent. I'm going to be fired. My career is over. This story is the source of your suffering, not the event itself. The Stoic practice is to separate the two. Acknowledge the fact, my work was criticized, and stop the story. By seeing the world as it is, stripped bare of our judgments, we rob it of its power to upset us. This is not about being cold or emotionless. It's about being a scientist of your own life. Observe the data. Don't jump to conclusions. When you stop telling yourself scary stories, you'll be amazed at how much less there is to be afraid of. So there they are, 7 rules, forged over 2,000 years, as relevant today as they were in ancient Rome. Own your circle. Practice misfortune. Love your fate. Remember you will die. Seek virtue. Master the pause. And see the world as it is. These are not just ideas to think about. They are tools. They are the hammer and the anvil. They are the fire and the water. This is a system, a daily practice for building a mind that cannot be broken by the chaos of the world. This is how you forge your will. If you're ready to stop being a victim of circumstance and start being the architect of your own mind, if you're ready to begin the work, then subscribe to Forge Your Will. Here, we don't just talk, we build, we transform, together. The choice, as always, is yours.